abundance. A lesson in compassion, perseverance, harmony, organic living, a fine example of respecting tradition. While embracing modernity. Welcome to a small state with big treasures.
How did the People's Republic of China capture Tibet back in the day? And is it time to consider a social media ban for kids? Watch Connecting the Dots to get the full picture every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
Land of Shivaji Maharaj goes to polls in 5 phases. In a race where local politics hold more sway than the national narrative, Maharashtra witnesses a chaotic election unlike any it has seen before. How will the regional satraps hold their ground in this election that could be a game changer to their fortunes? Join us in the battle for Maharashtra on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT only on DD India.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibilities. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday 8 p.m. only on DD India.
We're live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. US President Joe Biden says Israel must change how it is carrying out campaign in Gaza or face consequences. NATO marks 75th anniversary as foreign ministers meet in Brussels. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Ukraine will eventually be NATO member. Election campaign picks momentum for parliamentary polls in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address rallies in the state of Rajasthan. Congress to release its poll manifesto. On to the details now. The US president has said American policy on Gaza will be determined by whether Israel takes steps to address the safety of aid workers. US President Joe Biden had a telephonic call with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on Thursday.
On that phone call, the president emphasized that the strikes on humanitarian workers and the overall humanitarian situation in Gaza are unacceptable. He made clear the need for Israel to announce and to implement a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers. He made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action on these steps. If we don't see changes from their side, there'll have to be changes from our side, but I won't preview what that could look like.
Well, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Washington's policy on Gaza depended on immediate action by Israel to improve the humanitarian situation. He was speaking at the close of a two-day meeting of NATO foreign ministers to mark the alliance's 75th anniversary. Blinken's comments come in the wake of an Israeli attack on a World Central Kitchen charity convoy this week that killed 7 food aid workers.
A short while ago with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The leaders discussed the situation in Gaza. The President emphasized that the strikes on humanitarian workers and the overall humanitarian situation are unacceptable. He made clear the need for Israel to announce a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers. He made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action on these steps. He underscored as well that an immediate ceasefire is essential to stabilize and improve the humanitarian situation and protect innocent civilians, and he urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to empower his negotiators to conclude a deal without delay to bring the hostages home.
And as media reports are doing rounds that Israeli military has been using artificial intelligence to help identify bombing targets in Gaza, the White House said it was looking into such reports. In an interview, U.S. National Security spokesperson John Kirby said the U.S. had not verified the content of the media report published in a magazine. It cited Israeli intelligence officials involved in the reported program known as Lavender. The Israeli Defense Forces have denied that AI was used to identify suspected extremists and targets on the reports of opening of the Erez crossing with Gaza to allow more humanitarian aid to enter. Kirby said the opening of the crossing would be welcome news if true. And after terming the strike on 7 aid workers as intended, Israel said on Thursday it would adjust tactics in the Gaza war. Israel military has acknowledged air strikes on World Central Kitchen staff as a major mistake and said that inquiry findings would be made public soon. Monday's incident has stoked anger at the mounting civilian toll in the Israel-Hamas conflict, especially as the slain World Central Kitchen staff included Australian, British and Polish citizens along with a US-Canadian dual national. As a preliminary move to make amends for the WCK deaths, Israel said it would set up a joint operational coordination room with humanitarian agencies located within the military's Southern Command, where Gaza missions are directly managed. An international aid group said on Thursday there is nothing more they can do to protect staff in the Gaza Strip and that it is up to Israel as the United Nations appealed for direct humanitarian coordination with the Israeli military. UN spokesperson Stephen Dujarric on Thursday said the situation in Gaza is not going in the right direction. 10 days after the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian terrorist group Hamas.
The situation is not going in the right direction. The assessment is in terms of the Security Council resolution. The fighting in Gaza is continuing. The Israeli operations are continuing. The hostages continue to be detained. I mean, I think the Secretary General has been very clear at his grave concern, not only the situation in Gaza, but at the situation along the Blue Line, the situation in Syria, and the risk of a regional escalation that would impact civilians even more, people living in Lebanon, people living in Gaza, people living in Israel, in Syria and the West Bank and the broader region.
And Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Thursday held prayers in Tehran for the 7 officers killed in an airstrike on the Iranian embassy in Damascus on April 1st. An airstrike on Iran's embassy compound in the Syrian capital killed 7 Iranian officers on Monday. Israel has not claimed responsibility for the attack, which killed Iranian generals. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vowed revenge, and Israel is braced for possible retaliation. While on Thursday, Thursday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel will hurt Iran to defend itself against Tehran, that he said has been working against us directly and through its proxies.
For years, Iran has been working against us directly or through its proxies, and therefore Israel is working against Iran and its proxies, both defensively and offensively. We will know how to defend ourselves, and we will act according to the simple principle that whoever hurts us or plans to hurt us, we will hurt them.
Well, NATO alliance members agreed on Thursday to scour their arsenals for more air defense systems for Ukraine as the two-day meeting of NATO foreign ministers to mark the alliance's 75th anniversary focused on long-term support to Ukraine. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba met NATO counterparts and appealed for new additional air defense systems, especially US-made Patriot missiles. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said allies understand the agency, though he did not spell out any specific pledge or aid target.
Allies understand the urgency and therefore welcome also the announcements I just listed from several allies to provide more ammunition and more types of systems to Ukraine. They also understand the urgency of stepping up when it comes to air defense in particular. And therefore allies will now go back and look into their inventories, look into if there are any ways they can provide more systems, in particular Patriots, but also, of course, ensure that the systems which are already there have the ammunition, but also the spare parts so they can all function as they should. So this is partly a question of systems, batteries, but also very much a question of delivering the interceptors to the systems which are already there. And several allies promised that they should make a new effort to find what they can, or to look into what more they can deliver.
Well, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said a vote on multi-billion Ukraine aid package held up in the U.S. Congress could not come soon enough. He also said that allies had resolved to look at sending Kyiv more military aid.
So more than ever, we have genuine burden sharing among the allies. And in the 30 or so years that I've been engaged in these issues, this is probably the best example of burden sharing that I've seen. The United States has made tremendous contributions ourselves, but it is imperative that Congress pass the supplementary budget request that President Biden has made. I know that Speaker Johnson committed to bring the supplemental to a vote swiftly. The message from Brussels is clear. That vote cannot happen soon enough.
And moving on, the U.S. state lawyers on Thursday called for more information on the former U.S. President Donald Trump's $175 million appeal bond in civil fraud case, days after Donald Trump posted the bond to block New York State from imminently collecting on a civil fraud judgment. A New York judge will hold a hearing on April 22nd over the bond Donald Trump posted as he appeals the fraud judgment against him, one of 4 indictments he faces as he campaigns to challenge Democratic President Joe Biden in the November 5th election. Trump has pleaded not guilty in all criminal cases. The 4th in Washington also stems from his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. And in the aftermath of a deadly earthquake that caused massive destruction in Taiwan on Wednesday, more than 1,000 are now reported to be injured, with only 10 deaths reported so far. Firefighters also said their workers found a dead body in the rubble on a hiking trail near the entrance to a gorge on Thursday in Hualien, a day after the quake. The discovery of the body took the total death toll from the quake to 10. Rescue operations are underway to look out for people still trapped under the rubble. Helicopters are being used to rescue and lift stranded people, while some government personnel were deployed to help residents collect their valuables from destructed buildings. Meanwhile, Taiwan has condemned China as shameless after Beijing's deputy ambassador to the United Nations thanked the international community for its concern about the strong earthquake on the island. China claims democratically governed Taiwan as its own territory and also claims the right to speak for it on the international stage, which angered Taipei. And Patrick Falk has more from Taiwan on the election.
600 people that are still stranded. They are in contact with authorities, and what they're trying to do today is to airlift rescue personnel to them, either to pull them out or to bring necessary aid to them, much like they did with the trapped miners that were rescued yesterday. But weather conditions are changing here in Taiwan, so it's not been determined whether or not that's possible right now. Separately, among that group of hotel employees that were trapped in a convoy of minibuses on their way to work in Hualien County, we're hearing that one of them may have broken their legs. That's going to complicate rescues operations there, but some of those have also found their way to safety since being trapped there on Wednesday. The number of people that remain unaccounted for and are still missing has gone down since Thursday. There are now 38 people missing officially, according to authorities, and the priority really is to try and reach them right now. As the government in Taiwan has said, the priority is really to save as many lives as possible at this time. There is still this threat of aftershocks, and there have been more than 300 aftershocks since the initial quake on Wednesday. Last night there were some significant tremors, including one that triggered the earthquake alert warning system, so that threat is still very real.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Peru's Congress rejects attempt to impeach President amid Rolex scandal. UN Assistant Secretary General Khalid Kiari expresses concern over expansion of armed conflict throughout Myanmar. And Monetary Policy Committee of India's Central Bank RBI to announce policy statement.
Land of Shivaji Maharaj goes to polls in 5 phases. In a race where local politics hold more sway than the national narrative, Maharashtra witnesses a chaotic election unlike any it has seen before. How will the regional satraps hold their ground in this election that could be a game changer to their fortunes? Join us in the battle for Maharashtra on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, Peru's Congress on Thursday voted twice against formally debating the start of a process to impeach President Dina Boluarte for possessing and wearing expensive jewelry, including luxury Rolex watches. Boluarte is facing a probe for alleged illicit enrichment by improperly acquiring the high-end watches. She has denied all wrongdoing, but the case was further complicated this week when the probe expanded into bank deposits of unknown origin. Approval to launch the process was unlikely as conservative and right-wing lawmakers had signaled support for the president, saying they wanted to avoid a major political crisis. And at least 14 people died and 2 were left injured in an accident involving a small bus and a lorry on a highway in Oruro, western Bolivia. According to the authorities, the driver of the truck that was transporting salt fell asleep, lost control of the vehicle and then collided head-on with the bus, which was in the other lane. The truck driver, one of the 2 survivors of the crash, is in police custody and has been handed over to the public prosecutor's office. And the UN Assistant Secretary General Khaled Khiari has expressed concern over expansion of armed conflict throughout Myanmar. In his address to UN Security Council, Khaled Khiari said that fighting between the military and the Arakan army has reached an unprecedented level of violence. He also said that addressing the root cause of the Rohingya crisis will be essential to establish a sustainable pathway out of a current crisis.
Of armed conflict throughout the country has deprived communities of basic needs and access to essential services, and a devastating impact on human rights and fundamental freedoms. Addressing the root causes of the Rohingya crisis will be essential to establish a sustainable pathway out of the current crisis. The failure to do so and continued impunity will only keep fueling Myanmar's vicious cycle of violence.
And U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen arrived in China's southern factory hub of Guangzhou on Thursday with a tough message to Chinese officials. In a series of meetings with top Chinese economic officials from Friday through Monday, Yellen will seek to convey her view that excess production is unhealthy for China and that there is a growing drumbeat of concern about it in the U.S., Europe, Japan, Mexico and other major economies. China is unleashing a flood of electric vehicles, batteries, solar panels, semiconductors and other manufactured goods into global markets, the result of years of massive government subsidies and weak demand at home. Global prices for many goods are tanking, pressuring producers in other countries. And India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India's first bi-monthly monetary policy committee meeting for the year 2024-25 held in Mumbai on Thursday. RBI governor will deliver the statement on Friday. The central bank's last such meeting had maintained the key interest rate unchanged at 6.5% for the sixth straight time. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Spring burst in London as cherry blossoms display took over an exhibition space in the city centre. This display had opened ahead of the National Trust's Blossom Week, which started from 20th to 27th of April. The exhibition took audiences on a digital journey as they watched the blossom bloom into life and spread across screens covering the walls and ceilings of an open access, the London's famous Oxford Street. An airplane made emergency landing on a highway in North Carolina. The pilot was the only person in the airplane. No casualties were reported. The plane hit two vehicles during the emergency landing. The airplane took off from Lynchburg, Virginia, with a flight plan that had it landing in Ocean Isle Beach in North Carolina. The all-female team behind musical Mamma Mia, based on songs by Swedish pop group, celebrates 25 years in London's West End, showcasing the zeal of talent, marking 50 years since the release of the 1974 song Waterloo, which brought them to global attention. Malaysian Prime Minister received a courtesy call from Indonesian President-elect and Defence Minister Prabowo Subianto, who is on a special one-day visit to Malaysia. Their meeting discussed, among others, the next direction to be taken to strengthen Malaysia-Indonesia ties. Anwar and Prabowo also took the opportunity to share their experiences and exchange views on their political journeys. And let's now get to the latest in the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, with just days to go for parliamentary poll, leaders have intensified their campaign to woo the voters in their favour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was in Bihar and West Bengal yesterday, will visit Rajasthan today. Prime Minister is scheduled to address rally in Churu today. Bharatiya Janata Party has fielded Paralympian Devendra Jajadia from Churu. The main contest is between the BJP and the Congress party here. The state of Rajasthan has 25 seats in the lower house of the parliament. Prime Minister Modi is expected to reach the Churu police lines by 11:30 Indian Standard Time today. And for more updates, we are now joined by our correspondent Vishal Baristo from Jaipur. Well, Vishal, good morning. Rajasthan is voting in two phases on April 19th and April 26th. And Prime Minister's rally in the state today. Can you give us the details?
Well, a very good morning to you, Lipakshi. Well, I am in Churu, which is in the Shekhawati region of Rajasthan, the largest state of India area-wise. And today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to reach here by 11:30 Indian Standard Time. 25 seats are up for grabs in Rajasthan. Last time in 2019, BJP got 24 out of 25 seats. One seat went to the Rashtriya Loktantrik Party in Nagaur. And this time BJP is eyeing all 25 seats, and it's quite strange that BJP has denied ticket to its sitting MP Rahul Kaswa, who has joined hands with Congress party, and it has given ticket to Devendra Jhajhadia. Devendra Jhajhadia is a highly decorated Paralympian. In fact, he has 2 gold medals and 1 silver medal to his credit. One in Athens, the second one in Rio, and he won silver in the Tokyo Paralympics. He is definitely a star campaigner for BJP, and he won all these medals in the F46 events in the javelin throw. Devendra Jhajhadia is the first timer as far as politics is concerned. He is opening his innings from Churu, Rajasthan in BJP. Prime Minister would be eyeing 2 Lok Sabha seats, one Churu and the other one is Jhunjhunu from this meeting, and 17 assembly seats would come under his radar. As far as BJP is concerned, it is banking highly on the image and popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
All right. Also, Vishal, home voting in Rajasthan for citizens above 85 years and persons with disabilities for the Lok Sabha elections, for the first phase of Lok Sabha election, starts today. How is it going to work?
Well, let me tell you that this is quite an interesting exercise, and the Election Commission has made special arrangements for the specially able people and also for people who are senior citizens, 85 plus years of age, and the campaign and the whole exercise is going on very smoothly here in Rajasthan. As I informed that 25 seats are up for grab. And as far as Shekhawati is concerned, which consists of Churu, Jhunjhunu and Sikar district, they are known for people who go into the armed forces, and this Shekhawati region has always been very popular with Army, Navy and Air Force, and BJP has been very vocal about one pension, one rank which Prime Minister himself initiated, and BJP is banking on especially this category when we talk about the 85 plus years and also the specially able people. Some of them belong to the armed forces, and BJP is eyeing this vote bank as far as the Shekhawati region is concerned. Vipakshi?
All right. Also, Vishal, what are the current issues in the state which are going to dominate the polls this time?
Well, this time it's quite a different election because BJP is in power in the state. In fact, it won the state assembly elections last year, and it came back to power in Rajasthan. Bhajanlal Sharma is the chief minister and is in the helm of affairs in Rajasthan. So BJP looks quite confident, having won the semi-final. Remember, it also ousted Congress from Chhattisgarh MP and Rajasthan MP. It was already in power, though Congress had won, but some of its MLAs defected to BJP, and then eventually BJP won. So the 3 states BJP did very well as far as the Hindi belt is concerned, and this time also the central schemes of the Bharatiya Janata Party and also the guarantee that Prime Minister is time and again giving to the people of the country and also in Rajasthan, that my name is the guarantee and I am here to serve the public, I am here to serve the common man. So all the central schemes, whether it is for the farmers, whether it is for the skilled laborers and whether it is for the youth. They are quite popular here in Rajasthan, and BJP is banking very high on these schemes. But overall, it is the face value of the Prime Minister that BJP is banking upon. It also won the state assembly elections on the face of Prime Minister, and this time it is the grand finale.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for that update from Rajasthan. And we'll tell you more about the elections and still to come on DD India News Hour. US President Joe Biden celebrates 203rd anniversary of Greek Independence Day with a reception at the White House. Kuwait holds first parliamentary election under new Amir. And US President Joe Biden to meet families of those lost in Baltimore bridge collapse.
How did the People's Republic of China capture Tibet back in the day? And is it time to consider a social media ban for kids? Watch Connecting the Dots to get the full picture every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. US President Joe Biden says Israel must change how it is carrying out campaign in Gaza or face consequences. NATO marks 75th anniversary as foreign ministers meet in Brussels. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Ukraine will eventually be NATO member. Election campaign picks momentum for parliamentary polls in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address rallies in the state of Rajasthan. Congress to release its poll manifesto. Well, as Tamil Nadu heads to the polls in the first phase of the upcoming parliamentary election, national leaders are gearing up to ramp up their campaign efforts through their visits, heralding crucial moments in the campaign trail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to campaign for the Bharatiya Janata Party in Tamil Nadu from April 9 to 14th. His itinerary includes road shows and public gatherings in Vellore, Coimbatore, Chennai and Virudhunagar, aiming to bolster the party's prospects in the upcoming polls. Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is gearing up to address a rally in Kanyakumari on March 13th, launching the campaign of the DMK Congress Alliance in Tamil Nadu. Alongside Gandhi, prominent leaders such as DMK President M.K. Stalin and MDMK Chief Vaiko are expected to participate in the public meeting, injecting momentum into the alliance's electoral drive. And now for more details, we have Anbarasan from Chennai joining us. Well, Anbarasan, good morning. Tamil Nadu's polling is scheduled for April 19th in the single phase. How intense is the campaigning?
As you said, the campaigning in across all the Lok Sabha election, the first phases are going phase in April 19th, are getting momentum. And particularly in Tamil Nadu, already the campaigning in full swing across all the 39 constituencies. The DMK, BJP and the ADMK, all three alliances are making their last reach to the public for getting more votes. And particularly the leaders of the national alliances of NDA and India alliances, Prime Minister Narendra Modi yet to visit on 9th. on Vellore and Chennai for campaigning for the candidates of Vellore, AC Shanmugam and the Tamilisai Soundararajan in Chennai. And also Prime Minister also campaigning for Coimbatore candidate, the BJP state chief K. Annamalai, and also the current MOS L. Murugan in Nilgiris. After that, he is also campaigning for the star candidate Radhika Sharat Kumar, the actress, on Virudhunagar constituency. And after that, the India Alliance is the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also the campaigning for the candidate of Kanyakumari and Tirunelveli on April 12th in the both constituencies, along with the state chief minister M.K. Stalin and other India Alliance's partners of communists and BCK and the Vico MDMK, all parties. So the gaining, the momentum is gaining across all the constituency. Other than that, the state leaders of BJP and ADMK and DMK all are going all 39 constituencies.
Right.
And yesterday, the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin campaigned in Tiruvannamalai. He accused for the central government for not releasing the proper fund for the flood situation in Tuticorin
Right.
and Tirunelveli and also the Chennai. And so BJP state chief K. Annamalai also accused the DMK for mismanagement in various levels, particularly for the flood situation. And the K. Annamalai also said the DMK, the Kachativu matter, last 2 days before the release of RTA reply
Right.
came, and it's become, it makes a various climb on that. So these all issue overwhelming state across Tamil Nadu. So the visits of the national leaders may make more important and the significant in the upcoming
Right.
Lok Sabha election in the
Right.
state form.
Anbarasan, also, as you told us, give us more insight into the triangular contest between the DMK, ADMK and BJP coalition in the state.
Last 2019, there is a two-corner fight between ADMK and DMK, and this is the first time the BJP is emerging after the victory in 2019. The 2024, they are going to make a second. The expectation of a BJP, as they are saying that they will reach the second position after the DMK, and some parties are saying, and the calculations, the experts are saying, it will be still a tricorner fight between ADMK, DMK, and BJP. So all this calculation are gaining in some constituencies, particularly in Coimbatore. K. Annamalai, the state chief, is contesting, and the star candidates are nominated by the BJP and all the other. So it gives a strong fight to the various, nearly 10 plus more seats are getting tough fight between ADMK, DMK and BJP. So the Tamil Nadu, after always a DMK, ADMK tough, it's going to turn to a DMK, ADMK and BJP. We need to see the result in the upcoming Lok Sabha election.
All right. Thank you so much for that update, Anbarasan, from there. And moving on, Congress party is set to release its election manifesto at the All India Congress Committee office in New Delhi today. Following the release of election manifesto called Nyay Patra, party will also hold 2 rallies on April 6th. After the April 5th event in Delhi, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, former Prime Party Chief Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Vadra will fly to Jaipur on April 6th to attend a mega rally where they will launch manifesto. Late in the day, Rahul will also attend a rally in Hyderabad to release the manifesto. Also, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's husband Robert Vadra on Thursday said Amethee's people want him to contest from the constituency against the sitting member Smriti Irani. Robert Vadra said, and I quote, "The people of Amethi understood their mistake, and I feel now they want a Gandhi family member to represent the constituency. Even I get requests from Amethi people that if I join politics, I should choose Amethi. I remember my first political campaign with Priyanka was in Amethi in 1999, unquote. And Rajasthan, the largest state in India by area and is renowned for its rich cultural heritage, vibrant traditions and historical significance. Let's take a look at its significance in terms of the upcoming general elections in India.
But the mention of Rajasthan brings to memory rich culture, history, and heritage that has stood the test of time. Rajasthan is synonymous with tourism. World-famous castles, forts, and palaces built by the erstwhile royals are a main attraction for global tourists. Rajasthan is the largest state in India with an area of over 342,000 square kilometers. It is located in the northwestern part of the country, with the Thar Desert covering a significant portion of the state. The state of Rajasthan was formed on March 30th, 1949, with Jaipur as its designated capital city. As India goes to polls this year, the political barometer of Rajasthan is rising, with parties eyeing the 25 seats of Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament. The 2024 general election in Rajasthan is being conducted in two phases, on April 19th and May 26th. Rajasthan's population is about 81.3 million, out of which a total of 52.6 million voters are registered in the state. The state has 27.4 million male voters, 25.3 million female voters, and about 600 voters from the third gender. The Bharatiya Janata Party, Indian National Congress, Rashtriya Lokatantrik Party, the Bahujan Samaj Party, and the Rashtriya Lok Dal are the prominent players in the state. Looking back at the 2019 general elections, the BJP not only swept the polls but also increased its vote share to 59.07%. Rajasthan saw BJP-led NDA scoring 24 out of the 25 seats, along with the Rashtriya Lokatantrik Party securing 1 seat, and no seat was won by the Indian National Congress. As the parliamentary election dates are now set for the political matches in Rajasthan, the BJP is aiming for a repeat of 2019 blockbuster, while the other parties have upped their ante to improve their scores in the desert state. Election Desk, DD India.
And External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday said that one of the biggest achievements of Modi government is that it has carried out rescue operations abroad numerous times. Jaishankar said that one of the big achievements of Modi government is that every Indian feels safe wherever they go.
Today live outside India, they travel outside India, they study outside India. You see, last few years we've had some big challenges. There was a war in Ukraine. There is fighting still going on in Israel and Gaza. There was civil war in Sudan. We have had many times to do rescue operations. One of the big achievements of the Modi government is we tell every Indian, please feel safe going outside, because when you leave India, we are there for you.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. An earthquake of magnitude 5.3 hit India's northern state of Himachal Pradesh on Thursday. The National Centre for Seismology said the earthquake occurred in Chamba district of the state, and the tremors were felt across parts of North India, including Chandigarh, Punjab and Haryana. The officials added the quake originated at a depth of 10 kilometers. There has been no immediate reports of damage. Indian Coast Guard ship Samudra Peheredar on OSD at Ho Chi Minh City conducted joint training on marine oil pollution response with the Vietnam Coast Guard. During the training, a demonstration of the ship's pollution response equipment was carried out, showcasing the resolve of ICG for shared concern of marine pollution response in the ASEAN region. When Dr. Vaskaduve Mahindavanantsa Mahanayanket, hero of the Raja Guru Sri Subhuti Mahavira Monastery of Sri Lanka, presented Buddha relics to Dalai Lama in India's Himachal Pradesh, when Dr. Vaskaduve Mahindavanantsa is the custodian of the Kapilavastu relics of Buddha. A massive fire broke out at a factory in Ghaziabad's Lal Kuan industrial area on Thursday. 6 fire tenders rushed to the spot to douse the flames as soon as the information was received. No casualties have been reported so far. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained. Well, U.S. President Joe Biden celebrated the 203rd anniversary of the Greek Independence Day with a reception at the White House on Thursday. Accompanied by the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, the president celebrated the ties and friendship between the United States and Greece and applauded the Greeks for being the developers of democracy. Biden called on the citizens of both nations to continue to fight for democracy. Archbishop Elpidophoros praised Biden for being an ally for their brothers and sisters in Ukraine.
Today we celebrate 203 years of Greek independence, 203 years. And we celebrate the ties of friendship and family between Greece and the United States that stretch back even longer than that. Archbishop, the folks in this room embody those ties. We have proud Greek Americans here in the worlds of science, journalism, academia, finance, as well as small business owners.
And also, U.S. President Joe Biden will meet with families of workers lost in the collapse of a Baltimore bridge hit by a container ship. Biden is slated to visit the collapse site on Friday, with his trip expected to include meetings with state and local officials, as well as a look at response efforts. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said in a press conference that the president will join Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg along with federal, state and city officials during his trip. The Biden White House on Thursday said it has talked to big companies in the Baltimore area to encourage them not to lay off workers following the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge last week. Well, Kuwait held national elections on Thursday for the fourth time in as many years in its latest attempt to end political gridlock. These are the first elections since Sheikh Mashal El Ahmed Al Jaber assumed power after the death of his half-brother in December. The new Amir dissolved parliament in February after a lawmaker reportedly insulted him. Voters will choose among 200 candidates to fill 50 seats in the assembly, and the number of voters was estimated at 835,000. There are no political parties. Kuwait consists of 5 electoral districts, each with 10 lawmakers. Candidates who secure the top 10 positions in each district wins the parliamentary seat. And still to come on DD India News Hour. $1.5 million diamond-encrusted custom-bound Kipot, first edition of Truman Kipot's renowned breakfast at Tiffany's, debuts at New York Book Fair. Churchill's A History of the English-Speaking Peoples proofs unveiled at New York Book Fair. And in cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings in Hyderabad today.
How did the People's Republic of China capture Tibet back in the day? And is it time to consider a social media ban for kids? Watch Connecting the Dots to get the full picture every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
Land of Shivaji Maharaj goes to polls in 5 phases. In a race where local politics hold more sway than the national narrative, Maharashtra witnesses a chaotic election unlike any it has seen before. How will the regional satraps hold their ground in this election that could be a game changer to their fortunes? Join us in the battle for Maharashtra on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, the 61st National Maritime Day in India is being celebrated across the nation today. The day commemorates the historic embarkation of the first Indian-owned vessel SS Loyalty on a maiden voyage from Mumbai to London, which took place on April 5th, 1919.
The National Maritime Day in India holds significant importance in commemorating the maritime heritage and acknowledging the contributions of the maritime sector to the nation's growth and development. The history of the National Maritime Day dates back to April 5, 1919, when the Indian-owned steamship SS Loyalty embarked on its maiden voyage from Bombay to the United Kingdom. In recent years, there has been a renewed focus on leveraging India's vast coastline and maritime resources to boost trade, tourism and blue economy sectors. Initiatives like Sagarmala and Amritkal Vision 2047 are aimed at unlocking the full potential of the maritime sector and driving inclusive development across coastal regions. By fostering innovation, promoting sustainability and strengthening cooperation, it can be ensured that India emerges as a global maritime powerhouse in the years to come. As India continues to strengthen its maritime infrastructure, policies and capabilities, it is poised to play a prominent role in the global maritime arena, trade and sustainable development. Shama Mishra, DD India, Mumbai.
Well, the Spanish Coast Guard Service rescued 73 migrants from a wooden boat in the seas of the Canary Islands on Thursday. Coast Guards assisted injured migrants after the vessel towed the wooden boat to the Organgean port in the island of Gran Canaria. The EU border agency Frontex says the Atlantic route to the Canary Islands is currently the busiest route for irregular migration from West Africa into the European Union. The number of people making the perilous journey between January 1st and March 31st reached 1,315 compared with 2,178 during the same period last year. Well, thunderstorms dumped heavy rains that caused severe flooding in parts of West Virginia. Authorities issued a state of emergency in at least 5 counties, enabling the National Guard to activate swift water rescue teams and use helicopters in areas hit by flood waters. The heavy downpour dumped up to 6 inches of rain in a short amount of time on Monday, sending several creeks out of their banks. First responders conducted at least 22 water rescues in the county. Also, satellite imagery captured shows a storm system swirling over the United States Midwest and Northeast. The storm continued its move eastwards on Thursday, bringing heavy rain and snowfall to New England and the Northeast, causing severe weather wreaked havoc on multiple cities across the regions and spawned a succession of tornadoes that damaged infrastructure and homes. And the original galley proofs of Winston Churchill's A History of the English-Speaking People were unveiled at the New York International Antiquarian Book Fair. Rare book dealer Peter Harrington brought this item, which is one of the only 2 in existence, is Churchill's unpublished version of the text. This set of galley proofs differs from the Churchill archive galleys, representing the final stage of revision and containing around 500,000 words. The galley proofs served the purpose for the American publisher of aiding in the preparation of the American edition. And the 64th edition of the Antiquarian Booksellers Association of America, NYIBBF, is taking place at the Park Avenue Armory in New York City from April 4th to the 7th. And a dazzling custom-bound signed first edition of Truman Capot's renowned Breakfast at Tiffany's makes debut at the New York Book Fair. Also, among the standout pieces annotated by eminent writers, highlighting the significance of an annotation and beauty of books in the fair. The 64th edition of the New York Book Fair at the Park Avenue Armory in New York from April 4 to 7th coincides with the 75th anniversary of the ABAA. Also, the weather forecasters predicts an extremely active 2024 Atlantic hurricane season because of warm sea surface temperatures and less wind shear to break up storms in the summer and fall. Experts predict 5 major hurricanes to hit with gust above 178 km/h many places near the region. Last year, there were 3 major hurricanes that formed among 7 hurricanes and 20 named storms. The forecast predicts of above average sea surface temperatures that may fuel hurricanes and the impending end to the El Nino weather pattern. And Singapore is tapping innovative technologies with the country's safety in mind. Singapore's science and technology arm, HTX, and French tech partner CV Paul organized a trade show involving 350 firms. HTX showcased its latest invention of a cyborg cockroach that can sense body heat and navigate tight spaces in space search and rescue missions. The cockroach holds a backpack equipped with an infrared camera and heat sensors. These robots are aimed to replace manpower for certain dangerous operations. And moving on to some sports news now. IPL Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings today in the match 18 of IPL 2024 at the Rajiv Gandhi International Cricket Stadium in Hyderabad. Sunrisers Hyderabad suffered a heavy 7-wicket defeat while defending 163 against Gujarat Titans in their last game. Pat Cummins led Hyderabad, have won one of their opening 3 games this season and are currently placed at 6th position in the points table. Meanwhile, Ruturaj Gaikwad led Chennai Super Kings also witnessed a shocking 20-run loss against Delhi Capitals in their first game. However, Chennai are placed in the 3rd spot in the points table with 2 wins in 3 games in IPL 2024. CSK have recorded 4 wins in their last 5 meetings against SRH and will enter the upcoming clash as favourites. Meanwhile, Shikhar Dhawan's Punjab Kings won their 2nd game this season, beating Gujarat Titans by 3 wickets away from home in Ahmedabad on Thursday. Shashank Singh pulled off a stunning run chase for Punjab Kings as they chased down to 100. Both teams missed out on the middle order heavy hitters, with Liam Livingstone and David Miller missing out. Sikandar Raza and Kane Williamson got their first matches of the IPL season. Shubman Gill smashed a brilliant 89 off 48 balls to power Gujarat Titans to 199 for 4. In the run chase, Punjab kept losing wickets at regular intervals, but Shashank, along with a fine cameo from Ashutosh Sharma, powered his side home to the target with a ball to spare. And Rafael Nadal withdrew from the upcoming Monte Carlo Masters on Thursday, saying his body is not yet ready for the competition. The 37-year-old Spaniard, who has said he expects to retire after the 2024 season, returned to competition in Brisbane in January. This was after almost a year he was sidelined with a hip flexor injury, but has not played an ATP event since. Nadal said his body simply won't allow him to play for now. The Monte Carlo Masters begins on Sunday. Nadal has won the event a record 11 times, with his last victory coming in 2018. And Women's Tennis Association said the season-ending WTA finals will be held in Saudi Arabia's capital Riyadh from 2024 to 2026, ending months of speculation and marking the Gulf country's latest foray into the sport. Riyadh will host the season finale, which features the top 8 single players and double teams from November 2nd to 9th and replaces last year's host Cancun in Mexico. Talk that the event could be shifted to Saudi Arabia had intensified after the men's ATP Tour said last August its next-gen finals would be held in Jeddah from 2023 to 2027. Saudi Arabia has invested heavily in sports like soccer, Formula One and the golf in the last few years. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.